So let's get you doing everything correctly so you can succeed and feel good about what you're doing and fully understand it. These modules will teach you how to do things the right way. What about a DBA? Don't I need something like that? What is a DBA? DBA simply means doing business as. That's if you're doing business as a separate business name. So say your name is Jamie Kelly and you want to do business to make yourself sound a little bit bigger as Prime Designs, because you're a website company where you create websites for people. So say your name is Jamie Kelly and you want to do business as, DBA as, Prime Designs. It sounds bigger. It sounds a little more professional. Do you need to set that up? You don't need to set it up. But for marketing purposes, it's kind of nice. And to also have a name out there. So you would just go to your local courthouse or county clerk's office and you can form a DBA there, and they're very cheap to do. They don't give you any liability protection and help you in case you're sued, but at least you can do business as a different name. And then when you go to the bank, you can open up a separate bank account by using that business name, and people can make checks out to your business name. Now let's talk about business accounts. Do I need a separate business account? It's not required if you're just doing business in your own name or in the DBA name, because you haven't formed any official entity. And that's okay. You don't have to, when you're first starting out, form anything different. Remember, you can just start collecting income and paying out expenses. So going to the bank, getting a separate business account, what does that do for you? Well, you then you don't commingle funds where you have your personal expenses mixed in with your business expenses. Well, what's the benefit of that? Well, then when you go to track all of those expenses and that income, you're not sorting through your grocery receipts and all your other stuff. And if you pay a bookkeeper to help you, well, then they don't also have to sort through your grocery receipts and your personal expenses for buying clothes at the Gap or Goodwill, wherever you shop. You want to keep that nice and clean and concise and keep your accounting easy, because it can be a pain to do your bookkeeping and accounting. Why do you want to track all those personal expenses and your business expenses? Just keep it clean and get the separate business account. And once you have that account, you build up some money in it. Now you've got about $5,000 in it. You've been collecting the income and paying out the expenses, and there's money left over. How do I pay myself? When you're just a sole proprietor and doing business in your own name or just a DBA name, you just take money out of your business, just write yourself a check or transfer it to your personal account. It's as easy as that. That is how you pay yourself. You don't have to be on payroll or do anything elaborate with it. You just take money out and it's yours. That's the whole reason you're in business, to make money. So as you can see, it would be very helpful to have the business account and keep those clear boundaries between personal and business and make your accounting much easier to deal with. Things can get a little muddy with the business account and the personal account, because you think about your auto expense, and that's some business and some personal, and your house is some business and some personal if you have an office and home. So where do you pay things out of? Okay, only pay business expenses that are 100% business out of the business account. Things that are mixed and a little bit personal, like your car and your home, continue to pay those out of your personal account, because you're going to deal with that later in another module, and you also only want to keep strictly 100% business out of the business account. And with the income, only put the business income into the business account. Don't think, oh shoot, I've got to pay something out of my personal account, so this time I'm just going to put the business income into my personal account. As soon as you start getting all that mishmashy, higgly-piggly all over the place, You've just made it difficult for yourself to track everything at the end of the year. So when it's 100% business income, business account. When it's 100% business expense, business account. Personal things that have anything to do with personal account. Now we're talking about keeping everything separate. So when I go to file my business, I have to do a whole separate return, and I can just simply do my personal return without it, right? Because business is its own thing. No. You have to put your business return on your personal return. So don't just go and file your personal return without your business information on it. It's not a separate business unless you have a corporation. And even still, some corporations and LLCs, you cannot file your personal return without those amounts on that. So don't make that mistake. Now you've got all of this income and you have all these expenses and you have them only in your business account. Awesome. What do you do with all of that? How do I account for all of that? Well, if you have enough money if you're making enough money in your business, then perhaps you can get a bookkeeper. And if you're at that level, yay you. But if not, then you've got to deal with these income and expenses. The bookkeeper's great. It's a luxury addition, but when you first start out, it's not always possible. But you can do this. I know you can. So we talked about we have to track income and track our expenses. What exactly does that mean? It's helpful, like I said, if you're putting all of your business income into your business account, then at the end of the year, you've got 12 months of bank statements to add up those deposits, and theoretically, you have some invoices or sales slips for what you've sold that kind of back up that documentation. So there's your income. At the end of the year, you're just going to add it up. Or maybe you'll use an app to add it up. Or some kind of accounting software. I don't recommend any type of software because I feel like people are better off looking at tutorials on YouTube, different accounting softwares. There's several apps that you can get that track things for you. Or if you're one of what I call my quirky creatives, they like pen and paper, usually with some coffee stains down the side and some flowers drawn. That's okay too. There is no right or wrong way to account for your income and expenses. You just have to put them in certain categories. We're going to talk about all of that in later modules, and I'm even going to give you some worksheets and more tips. But just know you have to track the income in full, the total for the year, and you'll need that for your taxes, but you definitely want to come up with expenses against it. And you're going to put those by categories, not vendors. An example of a vendor is Amazon, Walmart, Lowe's Home Improvement. Those are vendors. They are not categories. Categories are office supplies, repairs and maintenance, and things like that. A good hack for tracking things and finding out the best kind of apps is YouTube. Once you get stuck, say you start recording things in an app or in an accounting software program, and then you get a little stuck and you think, oh my gosh, I need someone to help me with this, but I don't really have the money when I first started out to pay someone. YouTube is filled with free tutorials on how to work through some of the common problems in some of the common apps and accounting software. You'll find something and you'll be able to work through it. You want to go just basic with handling your income and expenses? Paper and pencil. Why not? That's how all of us accountants started out. We didn't have software back then. We did everything with paper and pencil. You could even just use a notebook. Pick a pretty one that looks like a journal and pick a page and put all of a certain type of expense like office supplies down one page and just write them all out. Or you could do as simple as just adding your receipts. And yes, you have to keep receipts. That's very important. If you're ever audited, they want receipts. Just as long as you have all of your expenses added and totaled for the year by category, and then all of your income totaled for the year as one amount, awesome, you've done that. I'm going to give you more tips in the income and the expenses, but that's really the overall of what you need to do to start your business.